Hi guys, I'm going to be discussing my book, Our 6 His 7 Transformed by Sabbath Rest. And in chapter 1, I start talking about King David when he wanted to bring the Ark of the Covenant into the city of David. And the first time he did it in his own strength, and he took 30,000 men, and the whole city was watching, and he was bringing the ark into the city of David, but someone touched it and died. And so when that happened, David became very fearful and angry, and he said, "How can the ark of the Lord ever come to me?" In 2 Samuel 7:9, he asked that question because here was a perfect ark, and he was not a perfect person. So how could he bring this perfection into his life, into his city? And we all are confronted with that question because God gives us his perfect will, his purpose for each of us, but we are flawed. So how are we going to bring this perfect will, this perfect destiny calling into our lives? There's just no way. It's impossible. We cannot even touch holiness because we are not holy. But David figured it out. The second time, after he left the ark there and someone else got blessed, so finally he realized he needed to get this ark into his city, and so he figured out the answer. The men would carry the ark, and after every 6 steps, they stopped and sacrificed an animal. In 2 Samuel 7:13, it reads, "When those who were carrying the ark of the Lord had taken 6 steps, he, David, sacrificed a bull and a fattened calf." So that was the answer, was the sacrifice. The sacrifice atoned for the 6 steps the men took to carry the ark. And in the Old Testament, the sacrifice is obviously a shadow of Jesus Christ. So today, when we try to bring God's perfect will, his perfect calling or destiny into our life, we have to rely on the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. And the number 6 is the number of man and women, and it's the 6th day we were created, and it's not a bad number. 666 is a bad number because that is putting emphasis on human strength. But the number 6 is our effort. And so we can do our effort, but it won't be enough. We need that sacrifice to atone for our effort and to make it pleasing to the Lord. And that's what Jesus does. That's why he's the Lord of the Sabbath, the 7th day, because he took the 6 steps of men and women, and he atoned for it so it would be pleasing to the Lord, so we could actually fulfill our destiny and our purpose. And so that is what is important about the sacrifice, and not always focusing on human strength. Now, we need to do our 6. We need to take our 6 steps. If those men didn't take their 6 steps, the ark would never have gotten to the city of David. It would have sat there. So we must take our 6 steps, and sometimes they're easy and sometimes they're hard. Sometimes what God expects of us is very difficult. But after our 6 steps, and we've done everything in the natural we could do to fulfill God's purposes for our life, then we need to rest in the sacrifice on the 7th day. That's why Paul says we must choose to enter into his rest in Hebrews. So I would just like to encourage you today that if you are relying completely on your human strength, you'll never get there. You'll never fulfill God's promises for your life. His will is too perfect and beautiful for you to achieve it on your own. You need to rest in the Sabbath. You need to do what you need to do, take your 6 steps, but when the Holy Spirit says you're done, you're done. You need to stop trying to fulfill his destiny for your life. You need to stop trying to move the car that has no engine in it. You need to wait for the engine, which is Holy Spirit. So do your 6 steps and then rest in the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. So I just want to encourage you today that you can do the will of God. You can do the perfect purpose that he has for you. Just learn to rest in Jesus Christ. Do what you need to do to stay obedient, but when God says rest, you need to rest. I hope you have a good day. All that comes from my book, chapter 1. And Our6His7 Transformed by Sabbath Rest. And if you want to read my book, you can get it from Amazon. Have a good day.